Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? What's up? We back with another episode of the Mike to Mike podcast. Come on, let's cheer it up, kids. You know what? I am excited. You know, I got to add some air horns in there, man. Because I'm glad to be back. And I'm back with two great men here. This is family. This is a family affair on this episode. And, you know, I got my cousin George. He was here last week. Come on, let's cheer it up for him. What's up, cuz? How you feeling? How you feeling?
What's up, Mike? What's going on, man? I'm happy to be back. Let's make it do what it do.
Let's make it do what it do then, baby. And then we got my other cuz, man. He's family as well. Let's give it up for Shaun Jones. Come on, let's cheer it up, kids. And how you feeling today, Shaun?
I'm feeling good, man. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, man. Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to be on here with y'all. We got a lot to get into. We got a great episode to get into. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you didn't know how this show goes, we always start with what's hot and what's not. And that could be a person. It could be a thing. It could be a topic. It could be anything. It don't even have to be sports, but we normally like to keep it sports. And the first topic we're going to be talking about again is what's hot. And what's hot right now, what is fiery, what is scorching hot right now is this March Madness tournament. And you know why it's so hot? Because of the parody of it. I know we talked about that last week, George. 2023, I already said it, is the year of parody. And I think that is going to be in all sports, not just this NCAA tournament, but I think it's going to be in the NBA. I think it's going to be for the football season that's coming up. Even baseball. I just think this year is going to be the year of parody, which means that, you know, anybody can win it. Everybody got a great shot to win it all. And you see that with the tournament. We just seen what's going on. It is Sunday, and we just seen some of the games that's going on. And it's just a breath of fresh air to see four teams that, you know, that we really didn't even think had a shot at the beginning of the season. You got Texas in it. You know, they're playing later on today. They're playing Miami. I like Texas in it. You know, you got UConn that just made it. You got FAU that just made it. And you got San Diego State. But I just love what's going on with this tournament. What do you guys think about how this tournament has gone on so far? George, we can start with you.
You know what, Mike? You said it last week, man. It's the parody, right? And again, when we came from the era where we used to watch, where the kids stayed for 4 years, we knew what we was getting at, we knew who was coming in, and we knew how the programs were going to function and roll. But now with these kids, there's parody everywhere. You got to be hot at the right moment. And so again, FAU, for a perfect example, them boys are hot. What, they 35-3?
Yeah.
And so, man, they just, once you find your hot streak, you keep it rolling, man. So, like you just said in the beginning, I think parity is going to be here for a long time in the NCAA tournament and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. What do you think about that too, Shaun?
Man, I'm loving the whole parody aspect of it with the transfer portal and the ineffectiveness of just scouting the AAU game so much. I think some of the big schools are actually missing out on the true studs. Oh. And so a lot of those guys are getting picked up by these mid-major schools and some of the smaller schools, and you don't really hear excuse me. You don't really hear about them until they reach this tournament. Then you're like, oh man, who was that guy? Like, he's a killer. Well, yeah, he probably could have been on a Duke or North Carolina, but he got overlooked. And so as an ex-coach, you know, coaching high school basketball, I saw that happen to quite a few of my players and quite a few of the local kids. So I understand why it's gotten to the way it is now, especially with the transfer portal. Some of the kids that aren't being treated right by their coaches and things of that nature are able to jump on that portal and get somewhere where a coach is going to appreciate them and give them some time on the floor. So now they're able to go out there and do their thing. And so that's why you're seeing a changing of the guard, so to speak, in NCAA basketball.
Oh, man, I love it. And it's the battle. It's the battle of the transfer guys, and it's the battle of the guys that stay there from year 1 to year 4. And you're seeing that a lot right now in college basketball. What works? What is most successful? Is it the guys that actually transfer in? I mean, and in the NIL. Hey, NIL, they getting that money right now. You are getting that money. Get that money, sir. Get that money. You know, the NIL is huge right now in college basketball. I mean, these guys are getting that money. And if you got one of these big programs like Texas and the Ohio States and all these guys, the Dukes, that have more money, I mean, you know, with the NIL, it's kind of like an uneven playing field. But, I mean, I love it. You know, I think these guys should have been making money a long time ago. So the NIL and the transfer portal, I think is good for college basketball and football because, I mean, it makes it exciting. I mean, it's more exciting now. So I'm loving the March Madness tournament. And I'm going to give you my picks of who I think is going to make it to that championship game. Like I said before, we are in Texas, and I'm gonna ride with the hometown team. I don't do that a lot, okay? I don't rock with the Longhorns a lot, but this year I like what Texas has done. They've taken the route of going in the transfer portal, getting guys that like Marcus Carr that came from Minnesota. They got guys like Timmy Allen that came from Utah, and then they got the guy Tyrese Hunter. He came from Iowa State. So they took the route of grabbing guys out of the transfer portal, and guess what? It has become successful for them. I think all their starters didn't, sign with Texas at the beginning of their career. So I love that. And then you got a team like UConn. I'm taking UConn to go against Texas in the championship game. UConn is a little different because UConn's guys pretty much have been there. You got the Sonogo guy, that guard that they have. I forgot his name, but he is fantastic. In the second quarters of these games, he has just been killing. I will get his name in a minute, but UConn is another team where it's a contrast in styles with the coaches. Is it going to be the guy that transferred? You got the transfer portal guys, or you going to get the guys that have stayed there for 3 or 4 years? And it's a great battle. So I like Texas versus UConn. And you know who I'm gonna take? I'm gonna take Texas to win it all this year. I like the interim coach, Chris Beard. He got in trouble earlier this year with some of the sexual assault stuff that was going on, but it was an excellent opportunity for a guy like they had on the sidelines that's actually coaching for Texas now to take over, and he has done an excellent job in that role, in that interim role, since he's been the Texas head coach. So I'm taking Texas this year. What do you guys think? Who you guys got winning it all? And we'll start with you, Shaun.
I got Texas in my bracket.
Okay.
I watched them in their conference tournament, and they just caught my attention with how hard they play. I said, man, I think those guys got that oomph. They got, what it takes to make it all the way. So far, so good.
Okay. We got Texas. Go Longhorns. What about you, George? I know George ain't going to take Texas.
Come on, I'm not taking Texas, man. And how this tournament's been, I'm going with FAU. I want to see something totally different that kind of shakes up the landscape of college basketball from the years to come, 4 years to come, right? So, again, I think Texas looked good. I like the interim head coach. He's doing this thing. And so, but right now, FAU, man, the boys are hot. You hear me? They are hot. And so you keep on riding a hot hand. You take them all the way. And they kind of remind me of, who was it back in the day with Hayward? Was it
Gordon Hayward? You talking about Butler?
Yeah, Butler. They remind me of Butler, right? Yeah. And so again, once you get hot, man, run it. Run it. And so again, I'm going FAU. I want something totally different, something unique, shake up the landscape for years to come.
And that is no disrespect to UConn. UConn, they're coming from the Big East, and that's what we're gonna get into next. Talking about this Big East. The Big East is back, y'all. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because back in the early 80s, that was before I was born, but I do watch documents on it. The 80s, college basketball was ran by the Big East, and I love the fact it's something about Big East basketball that's different than all other college basketball. I don't know if it's the grit, if it's the East Coast thing. You got teams like you got Creighton, and then you got Providence, and then you have Villanova. And then you got teams that have made it, this far this year, and you got Marquette, and then on top of that, I love the fact that Rick Pitino is coming back. He's going to the Big East. He's going to St. John's, and then they got a guy in Ed Cooley from Providence to go to Georgetown. And those are two big programs in the Big East. Those are two statement programs in the Big East. A guy like Rick Pitino coming back to go to St. John's, and then you got Ed Cooley going to one of the biggest programs in the Big East in Georgetown. I think that solidifies the Big East as the best conference in basketball. What do you guys think about what's going on in the Big East right now?
Well, I would say, I'm extremely excited to see it come back. I'm the OG of the crew here. So I was able to watch it, in those early and mid 80s. And I mean, man, they went at it so hard. The Georgetown, Villanova, Seton Hall, Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt. I mean, those and Pitt, I think it is that East Coast grit,
right?
And
it's
so
just toughness.
Yeah, I hated to see it when they broke it up some. So even now you got the teams like Creighton coming in and taking control. So just to see all those teams make it to the tournament and do well, to see teams like the Big Ten kind of crumble. Like, oh man, Big Ten crumble, but the Big East is going strong. So I mean, they putting their stamp on college basketball right now. So I'm glad to see it come back.
And I think it's the kids they get. I think those East Coast kids that they grab out of those New Yorks, Philadelphias,
them Bronx
they are
boys.
just a little tougher. You know, they grew up a little bit harder, and you see that on the court. They got a grit about them. They do. They got a tenacity about them that you don't see in other basketball players. They're used to playing in big games. Yeah. Close games. They most of the time they step up to the stage that they're on. If they're in Madison Square Garden in that Big East tournament, it's always a great tournament. Yeah. I think that has a factor to do with why the Big East basketball conference is so good because of the kids they grab.
Sure.
What do you think about that, George?
Yeah, I agree because kind of like what Shaun just said, back in the mid '80s. Them boys had some dogs, right?
Oh,
and so
God.
I think there was one point in the 80s in the Final Four, I think three of the four teams were from the Big East, right? Mm-hmm. And they had great coaches. And so again, if they can get back to getting great coaches recruit good kids, then you get a good product that people want to see. You know what I mean? And so again, like I say, with Rick Pitino, St. John's, we got Cooley going to Georgetown. If Georgetown can start getting some kids to open back up and get there and open up the Hoya paranoia they had back in the 80s,
right?
Man, and that's what you need. You need somebody who's going to get them boys to Georgetown because Georgetown was one of the teams that was a staple in the conference. You know what I mean? And they got to bring it back.
Right. If you can get Georgetown and St. John's going, it'll definitely bring up the hype on the Big East.
Yeah. You know what? No offense to Patrick Ewing, but Patrick Ewing was a horrible coach. Okay, and we love him for what he did for the New York Knicks. Man, they gave Pat Ewing about 6 or 7 years, George.
Man, they didn't give Pat a chance. But wait,
how did they give him a chance though, George?
But wait a minute, you got to understand something. And Shaun, you will get this. The greatest coach they ever had was John Thompson. John Thompson is not walking back through that door, man. He's not.
But I'm saying, what big recruit did Patrick Ewing get in that team?
But you know what? You got to give him an opportunity, man. Georgetown used to get them boys. They used to get straight rollers.
So what opportunity would they have given him that he didn't have? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They gave him 7 years.
But the game changed. Even when John Thompson Jr. was there, or the third, it just changed, man. So you got to give him time to get there.
So let me say this. I think part of the problem with recruitment for Patrick Ewing is that he's an old big man. And so much of the game is dominated by guards these days.
Guard play.
Or wannabe guards.
Right.
So these guys like, man, what you gonna teach me?
Exactly.
I ain't trying to do post moves. Even the big men, like, I ain't trying to play in the post. Exactly. I'm trying to shoot that thing from outside. So they're like, I'm gonna go to a program where more guard orientated style of offense is, and that's where I want to go. So I think that's what happened to Patrick Ewing. And then also, to me, it just seems like the best players are never the greatest coaches or GMs. That's what I've noticed.
Exactly. Yeah. It's always like that. I don't think Patrick Ewing changed with the times. I don't. I'm being honest. I mean, like Shaun just said, he was more focused on big men rather than going to get those guards. Matt McClung came there. I think that might be the biggest recruit he had. And he left and went to Texas Tech. So he couldn't keep the guards that he did have. Yeah. But I think Georgetown gave him more than enough time. And it wasn't like he wasn't even making it to the tournament. He was making it to like the NIT. So it's like when you get into that, and you're Georgetown, you're this this storied program. I think they wanted to keep him, but they just couldn't keep him with what he was giving them.
That's a good perspective.
Every year. So we wanted to move on and talk about our next topic. And our next topic, and I wanted to make this the what's not of this this week, is Cam Newton. All right, Cam Newton, excellent player, a juggernaut of a player. He really didn't even look like a quarterback. He looks like a tight end. The way he was built, 6'5", 250. Cam Newton was one of the best players and one of the best quarterbacks at one point in the NFL. Won the 2015 MVP, won the Heisman Trophy. I think that was in 2010, and then also won the national championship for Auburn in 2010. And he did some excellent things in the league. But the reason I want to talk about Cam Newton this week is what he said. As you know, Cam Newton right now is out the NFL. And he went and said some things and made a statement about what's going on right now with his situation in the NFL. And he said, these guys in the league, they're signing nobodies over him.
I think he called them randoms, didn't he?
Or randoms.
Yeah, he called them randoms. Yeah.
Randoms or nobodies. So he said randoms. Thank you, George. He said randoms. But I wanted to talk about that because if you want to get my opinion on it, I think Cam's personality and all that is bigger than his play right now. And a lot of teams don't want that. I think his personality is gonna overshadow the team. And if Cam is gonna be willing to be a backup quarterback, then I think more teams would be willing to take him on as one. But I don't think that Cam is willing to do it. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I think the times have changed. Even from 2015 and 16 when Cam was at the top of his game to the new NFL now, where I'm sorry, I don't think Cam can really throw the football. And I'm just being honest. I don't think he's that good of a thrower of the football. And with his physical size and traits, it's not going to be the same as what it was in 2015. He's 33, 34 years old, but I just don't think he can take those hits in the physical, brutal play that he played with back in Carolina. So I agree with kind of what the NFL is doing right now. If he's willing to suppress his personality and some of the things he does, because you can't really be in the limelight when you're a backup quarterback. I'm just being honest. You can't be in the limelight when you're a backup quarterback. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I just see Cam's personality being bigger than his game right now. And that's why I think that NFL teams are overlooking him. What do you guys think about that whole Cam Newton situation?
Well, I think Cam can still be effective. I mean, you look at, and I agree with what he says about there's not 33 or 32 better quarterbacks than, you got the Davis Mills and those guys out there that I know Cam is still better than. I think the problem is, like you said, he is 33 years old. He can't take those hits the way that he used to, and he doesn't have that speed burst, taking off. So the question is, how accurate is he?
Exactly.
And so I just feel like if he's not in the right system with the right receivers, he's not going to be as effective. But at the same time, I think it is now time for him to take a step back and become a great backup and get in when, the opportunity arises. But I just don't think he's ready to be a starter.
So I got a question for you. What do you think Cam was at New England? Did that look like a starting quarterback to you when he was at New England?
Well, man, New England just had a bad system. Even Mac Jones looked terrible in that system. I mean, who was the receivers there? Who was the running backs there? Like, most people can't even give you the names of, the offensive players for New England.
So you saying if they put good weapons around Cam Newton, he would still be successful in the NFL?
I think so. I think so.
What do you think about that, George?
I'm being honest with you. I think Cam was washed.
Exactly.
I think he's washed.
I think he is too.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because he's 33.
Right.
And each year that progresses, the league gets younger, you get older.
Right.
And you said something. He has a very big, broad personality. And the attention is always going to be on him.
Yes.
He got to realize something. His height of his fame, or the height of his peak of his career was, 7-8 years ago?
Yes.
Hey, bro, you're not that guy no more. You're not that guy.
But see, the thing is, he needs to be okay with that and say, I just want the camaraderie of the team, the locker room.
I don't think he will
bring back the personality, make a few $1 million to ride off into the sunset with. Well, then you got some issues if you can't go shut your mouth and go make your money.
Sure, I agree. And I think he has made enough money, but I think he still thinks he's 2015, 2016 Cam. He's washed.
Exactly.
And so again, I don't think the teams are going to put up with that. The league is getting younger. You got obviously Mahomes, you got Burrow, and he might compare himself to, let's say, Aaron Rodgers, but Rodgers is a different type of quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So again, you're not that guy no more, Cam, and it's cool. It's cool. Go ahead. Bow out gracefully. Let Carolina build you a statue. Go on about your business.
And that's what I think, man. I just feel like Cam, all this stuff he does, he's on podcasts and all this. Mm-hmm. He's always talking. He's using hieroglyphic, whatever he's doing with the tweets and stuff. He don't type like a normal person. He puts his lines through the holes and all that. He does all this weird stuff, man.
He's a different dude,
he's a different type of cat. And I'm telling you now, he's going to overshadow the starting quarterback.
Sure
if he's coming in like a person like Mac Jones on one of these young quarterbacks, and you bring Cam Newton in there, I think he is going to be a bigger distraction than what his play is, and that's what I'm saying. And I think that's why, even like, it's the perfect scenario of what Carmelo Anthony was at one point. A lot of times, a lot of teams was not picking up Carmelo Anthony because he did not accept the fact that he was not a starter anymore. He wasn't the same Carmelo Anthony. That's why he was out the league for a year and a half until he came back and he humbled himself. And then he was like, he changed his role. But I think it's the same thing with Cam Newton. I think if he does not change who he is as a person, and it's fine. He's done enough in the league. He had one of the greatest seasons I've seen from a quarterback, just one season. That 2015 season was a great season. It was a remarkable season. But what I'm saying is if you cannot suppress yourself, and I know, but he has to. He has to now. As a backup, you have to suppress yourself, and you kind of got to stay out the limelight a little bit and let the quarterback get the shine.
You know what's messed up about that is there's a stark difference between the NBA and the NFL when you have those big personality guys. In the NBA, those big personality guys can keep moving from team to team.
Right. Get
commercials and all that. But in the NFL, if you're a brother with one of those big personalities, it almost ends your career. You look at the Ocho Cincos and the T.O.s.
I agree with you.
And now Cam is like, once you really get yourself out there, you should be more marketable, but it kind of like ruins your career. And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. I think it has to do a little bit with ownership.
Almost definitely.
Ownership in the NFL, we know.
And fan base, because
fan bases are different too. But you're right. NBA players are given a little bit more freedom to be themselves. All right, because they are the main attraction. When you look at NFL teams, it is a little bit different because that strong arm of the law is the ownership. It is the shield itself. So I agree with you on that, Sean. But when it comes to Cam Newton, I just feel like I love the guy of what he used to be. I just don't think he's the same. And it's the style of play. When Cam was at the top of his game, he was a bruiser. If you was a defensive tackle or if you was a defensive player, you didn't want to tackle Cam Newton because he was going to give it to you.
No, sir.
All right? He was going to lay the smack down on you. All right? At 6'5" and 250. But he can't do that anymore. I don't think he can play that style of football anymore. And Ron Rivera had him in a great system where he was able to use his physical attributes to win games. Cam can throw it, but I just don't think he is as accurate to turn himself into a pocket passer to be successful now.
But now you said something. So now when Cam can't throw it, if he gets in the game, now he's going to defend his stance of what he used to be, right?
Right.
And so every NFL team goes through a stretch where, you know what, let's make a change of quarterback, see how it functions and flows.
Right.
If they put Cam in the game, all of a sudden Cam's not performing, Cam's going to pout. There's going to be something other than my play on the field that has this thing going wrong, and I'm not going to take accountability for what I haven't done.
Right.
And so now that makes the locker room split. Cam our guy, Cam not our guy. Then he going to be in his feelings. Like you say, he going to put out those weird hieroglyphic tweets, and all of a sudden we got a problem. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, in the NFL right now, to me, quarterback play is not that great. There's not that many great quarterbacks, just to me.
No, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least give him a chance to be a backup.
I mean, yeah. I think Cam would be a great backup. I'm just looking at it from how owners look at it and coaches look at it too. And who knows what Bill Belichick has said? Bill Belichick might have been, we know these coaches talk behind closed doors. I don't know what has been said of why Cam is still out the league. I know he just had a pro day at Auburn just last week.
Right.
But we'll see what goes on with this situation. I know I'm going to throw y'all on the spot on this one, but I wanted to talk about it because we just talked about Cam's 2015 season. And I was thinking about something. What is some of the greatest single seasons in NFL history? And when I thought about that, I said, man, one that I was definitely thinking about that, two that I was thinking about that's my favorite. And I'll get y'all insight on what's y'all favorite seasons too. But it was definitely LaDainian Tomlinson. That season, I think it was 2006, 31 touchdowns and then 15 yards of rushing yards as well. That was one of the best seasons I've seen. And then probably my favorite personally, besides Cooper Kupp, I want to shout out Cooper Kupp for what he did in 2020.
Oh, Lord.
Rams Nation all day long, what he did, getting that triple crown. Shout out to my boy Coop. Hey, Cooper Kupp all day. You know what? Let me give you an air horn for that one, baby. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
I got a point about Cooper later on when you give me a chance.
You got a point. All right, I'm gonna get right to you. But the second one is definitely gonna be Adrian Peterson. Coming back from that ACL injury that he had, I think Adrian Peterson's 2012 season, 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns was one of the greatest single seasons that I've seen. And I know you guys can probably go back a little bit farther, but what do you guys have as your favorite single season by a player in the NFL?
By a player. Okay. I was thinking team.
Actually, Sean, let me say this. I think for me, us being from St. Louis, I think what Kurt Warner did when he first hit the league.
Kurt Warner.
I mean, what Kurt Warner did coming out of nowhere set the league on fire. And so for those 2-3 years, the greatest show on turf was just everybody had to see this thing. Right. And even Marshall Faulk, that second year, he won MVP. Man, Marshall couldn't be stopped. You know what I mean? And so it's so many phenomenal seasons. And agree, the ones you put out there are great seasons. So it's so many to where, man, these guys who perform their way, they're high level athletes, man. They perfect their craft all the time, and it's as a fan, it's amazing to watch to see what they do.
Oh yeah,
but that's what I was going to say. You know, I was going to go by team, but I mean,
you can go team. What's your favorite?
That team was full of great people. So you know how you get hyped about your Rams?
Yeah.
See, I was the same way about the Rams during that time, doing the greatest show on turf. You know, especially growing up in St. Louis, the Cardinals moved when I was like a sophomore in high school. So finally have a football team and a winning football team at that time, man, and just, you know, to go from worst to first in no time. I mean, and then the style of play and the type of players that they had, man, that was like to this day, that's still one of the most incredible things I've seen in sports, period. I mean, Kurt Warner, you know, that quick release and the offense that Mike Martz drew up. I mean, man, it was nothing like it. Just looking at Marshall Faulk, you know, pudgy guy, no muscles, but he was just a cerebral assassin.
That 28 Faulk was a bad boy.
God, man.
And think about this: that time, what is it? 4 or the 5 guys are now in the Hall of Fame. The only one we're not waiting on is Torrey Holt, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So again, man, them boys was just putting on the show every Sunday that you had to see. Sunday. You had to see because what they were doing, we never saw before.
Right.
Never saw. Isaac Keem, what they have, Joe Horn, I think it was, and them
Tony
Horn.
Horn.
Them boys are just doing stuff like this is true video game in real life.
Ricky Pro. They had a lot of good players.
Yeah.
So
and I don't know if y'all had a chance to go down to it was the Trans World Dome back in those days, man. Oh, during that season, I got a chance to go to about 2 or 3 games. Man, I never experienced nothing like that, man. St. Louis used to come out for that.
Greatest show on turf.
It was live.
Oh yeah.
But the Adrian Peterson season, man, that just reminded me just like that Kobe mentality. Like, okay, I'm not gonna let this injury shut me down, and all the naysayers saying I'm not gonna make it back or I'm not gonna do that well. And so, man, just to see him say I'm gonna come back early, and he was able to put his mind and put his body to the test, and he did it, man.
And you know what? A lot of people don't talk about this guy a lot because he played on a team that just really wasn't as good for a lot of years. But Calvin Johnson, the years that he put up in the league was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like if he just had a better team, they would put him way higher. You know, I think he. If you ask me, Calvin Johnson is a top 5 wide receiver all time.
Oh, most definitely.
But it's just the fact of that he played for the Lions.
Yep.
And they never really
Barry
put
Sanders.
guys around him. Look at Barry Sanders and how Detroit treats these phenomenal players that they get. They just never was able to put the team around him to be successful. But he's definitely one that I want to add in as an honorable mention on that list. But I was just thinking about that. You know, greatest single seasons. Cam had a great season in 2015. Won the MVP that year. And you know, I think everybody that I just named won the MVP that year. I think AP won that MVP the year he ran for 2,000 yards. LT definitely won the MVP. He ran for that 31 touchdowns. So I just had to, add that in, greatest seasons in the NFL.
Can I add something?
What's up?
So just as much as, I love that greatest show on turf and I go back and I watch the highlights and I get all hyped about it, that, was it 2013 season with Peyton Manning with the
I think that was 20 was it 2013 with the 55 touchdowns.
Oh man, you watch
that's
those,
a great one.
You watch those highlights, like the touchdown plays weren't as exciting as the greatest show on turf, but just the numbers of touchdown. I mean, like there are 4 receivers, 1 through 4 had double-digit touchdowns.
And you know what the crazy thing about that was? That I think that was the first year Peyton Manning got there.
I think it was, yeah.
So
he had no continuity with none of them dudes.
That's when he got that sheriff moniker. You hear me? He was flinging that bad boy all over the field, and they couldn't do nothing about it.
You had both Thomas boys. You had Decker. You had Welker.
Yeah.
Decker.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then that tight end they had, and he went. I think he went to Jacksonville the next year. Was it Thomas? Julius Thomas?
I think so. Yeah.
So that was a good one too. All right, guys. So we gonna move on to the next topic. And the next topic that we wanted to talk about today is just giving our NFL updates. What's going on this week in the NFL? It's not that much, but it's enough to talk about. The first thing is the Cowboys signed Ronald Jones. So Ronald Jones, he comes back to his hometown state. I think he went to McKinney Boyd. So he's coming back home to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Basically, what I got from this Ronald Jones signing is that they are serious about Zeke leaving. They're not gonna try to reconstruct his contract and bring him back for less money. They are pretty much cutting ties with Zeke, getting Ronald Jones. So like I said, I'm happy for Zeke more than anybody that he has gotten out of Dallas. Okay. It wasn't the place for him, if you ask me anyway. All right. He's a St. Louis boy. And you don't need to be with these Cowboys, man. These dudes are perennial losers. Okay. So I don't want to be around nobody that has lost for the past 27 years, but they feel like they still on top. Okay. So he's out of here, and I appreciate Jerry Jones for not, giving him less money, and Zeke can go find somewhere else. I heard he's looking at Philadelphia. I think the Jets was one of the teams in the running for him as well. So it's a couple teams that's out there looking for Zeke and trying to sign him. But that Ronald Jones signing, I think, is a good signing, but I think it's a step back from what Zeke was with Ronald Jones. I didn't think he looked too good this last season with Tampa Bay. Y'all got anything to say on that Ronald Jones signing with Cowboys?
I don't think he's gonna move the needle or anything.
Yeah, I think it stays exactly the same. Exactly.
I agree. I think him and Powell are kind of the same type of back in a sense. So maybe you can spell one for the other, but I don't think he makes them any better than they were last year. So,
it's just a signing that really is kind of, it really doesn't matter that much to me. McCole Hardman to the Jets. I feel like, with the Chiefs getting so much, I mean, the Chiefs are just like, the rich just keep on getting richer. They got Kadarius Toney. You still got Travis Kelce there. I'm hearing they're trying to get what's his name? Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. Oh so God. It's like, I mean, they could really just, get rid of McCole Hardman. He goes to the Jets. I mean, he was a great player for them, but not nobody where it's like, oh, we had to keep him. All right. He was kind of like the watered down Tyreek Hill, if you ask me. That's what he was. All right. So McCole Hardman going to the Jets. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs are not tripping off of that. The Chiefs is going to keep that train rolling. And I feel like they did that because they know they're going to try to get, one of these big fishes out there. And if they get Hopkins, I'm about to, lose my top. Okay. Because I don't understand it, man. You already got, the Michael Jordan. I call him the Michael Jordan of football, and Patrick Mahomes. And then to give this guy Travis Kelce and Hopkins, once he just had Tyreek Hill, I mean, that's just unfair if you ask me. So we'll see what happens with that and who the Chiefs try to get, because I know they're going to try to get somebody. And then the last one that just happened is Bobby Wagner signs a 1-year deal for $7 million to go back home to Seattle. And I'm happy for Bobby because he didn't do nothing for me. This was a waste of the season. All right, he can take that 1 year that he served with us out of Wikipedia and out the history of the NBA, NFL books, because we don't care about it. All right, Bobby, his heart was back in Seattle when he was playing for us anyway, so I'm glad that he went back. But that's pretty much what we got on the NFL news. Any updates or anything you want to talk about on the NFL? What's going on right now in the NFL?
No,
I just thought there was going to be more explosive pickups.
I did too, Sean.
It's been kind of slow lately.
It is. It's not a lot out there, so we're going to see what's going on. But it's very slow right now. I mean, we got the whole summer, but I mean, I guess things are going to start changing once the draft happens.
Yeah.
So once teams see what they got in the draft, I think that's when the NFL signings will go up. I think some of these guys are trying to see what's going to happen in the draft, and I'm very excited for this draft because it's a lot of good talent out there, and it's a lot of good talent in the deep rounds of this draft. So we'll see what happens with the NFL coming up in the next couple of months after the draft happens. So the main thing we want to talk about is the NBA season right now, and I wanted to give you guys just what's going on in the NBA, and then we'll talk about it. First of all, I wanted to give you the standings. So right now, when we talk about the East first, we got Atlanta at 8, Miami at 7, Brooklyn comes in at the number 6 seed right now in the East. New York Knicks come in at 5. Cleveland Cavaliers come in at 4. Philadelphia 76ers at 3. And then you got the Boston Celtics at 2. And then you got Milwaukee at number 1. And then in the West Coast, we have right now at number 8, you got Dallas, which is kind of surprising to me. But that West Coast is just crazy. It changes every day. So you got Dallas at number 8. You got OKC coming in at number 7. You got number 6 at Golden State. You got number 5 being LA Clippers. You got number 4 in the West being Phoenix Suns. You got number 3 being Sacramento. Number 2 being Memphis still. And then number 1, the remaining at number 1 is the Denver Nuggets. One thing I want to talk about with this list is I just feel like Dallas being at number 8, I would think they would be better than what they are. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's more Luka than anything. I feel like Luka is James Harden in Houston. And I don't know if his play results to winning. I don't know. What do y'all feel about that? And why is Dallas still at number 8? I think they should be a little bit higher after these couple years with Luka.
I think part of the problem with Luka is, I'll put it this way: if I was on a team with him, I don't know how amped I would be on the court with him. I mean, the constant crying and complaining. I'm even starting to notice Jason Kidd getting a little irritated with it.
Yeah.
It's just like it's all about him.
Yeah.
And who wants – I mean, when I played high school ball, I mean, I knew who the man or the men were on the team. I knew I was, a halfway decent role player. So if my guys were selfish like that and it was all about them, like, yeah, man, I want to play with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm a role player. I know you the man. I'm going to go out here because you the leader, and I'm gonna go hard for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you selfish like that, most people not gonna want to play for you.
Well, yeah, when you playing basketball, you just don't want to watch nobody dribble for 20 minutes. 20 minutes, and then you put up a shot. Okay,
Facts.
You have to be actively involved when you playing basketball. Guys want to feel involved. That's why it's always best to share the basketball. Everybody touches the ball. Everybody shares the ball. But just like James Harden. Before Chris Paul even came there, it was a whole lot of James Harden dribbling the ball for 20 seconds, and then he'll get his assist because he'll dish it off if he get double team or something like that. But the ball was not constantly moving, kind of like a Golden State offense. It was more just everybody watch what Luka do and react to what Luka do. And if Luka misses, go grab the rebound and set it back up for Luka. It's just all too much Luka. And now Kyrie Irving came, and it's two guys that do really the exact same thing.
And both of them are ball dominant, number one,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
And I think with Luka, he has that that European game, right? And so again, he was the man over there at a young age, and he's super talented. Don't get it twisted. But you come over here, these Americans ain't finna set screens and watch you shoot buckets all day. I want to get buckets. I want to get points. I want to get a contract as well. So again, I want to feel like I'm a member of this team. You know what I mean? And Luka is the man, no doubt. But also Luka is kind of coming behind the footsteps and the shadow that Nowinski left, right?
Yeah.
So Dirk is the man here.
Yes.
Dirk is forever immortalized. And so again, maybe he's trying to walk down that thing. Now, Luka has a good game. We know what Kyrie is about. I think they have a good team, but they got to figure out how to move the ball, like you said, and be more of a cohesive unit to win and be higher in the standings.
And like Shaun said, another thing Shaun said was, Luka cries a lot.
Oh, yeah, he does.
How you going to be a leader and you always crying? And you would think Luka got 15 years in the league the way he's crying.
And I think I just saw somewhere recently he got another text. He got 16
texts.
here.
Now he can be up for suspension.
Now, that's your superstar.
Exactly.
Your superstar can't have 16 texts.
And you know what? I think that's the problem with the last coach with Rick Carlisle is can't nobody tell Luka nothing.
Yeah.
They've given Luka the keys to the city already.
They give Luka the keys.
And he's great. The same thing with John.
But look. They gave him the keys like he won a championship. He ain't won a championship yet.
And they giving them too much too early.
Yeah.
You all right? You're number 8 in the West, and you over here getting all this stuff like you Kobe Bryant or something. That's my problem.
So another thing with that is the leader of the team supposed to lead by example, right?
Exactly.
Well, if all your leadership comes on the offensive end, but you don't lead on the defensive end, then where does everybody else play into that? You know what I'm saying? So it's we're just going to be an offensive team. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
and then you made that trade for Kyrie.
And you lost your defense.
You got two people who play defense.
Yeah.
Right. Two people who not playing defense. We know Kyrie ain't playing defense.
Play a little bit. He's pretty decent.
Man, stop.
I think he's pretty decent.
But I mean, I was just looking at that. I'm looking at the standings. I'm just like, man, Dallas ain't moving the needle. Every year, it's the same thing with Dallas. Now, when they get into the playoffs, they play much better. All right, but I mean,
but dropping back to back to the Charlotte Hornets,
that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at a team like OKC, which should not be nowhere in the playoffs right now. And they're above Dallas. They're number 7 right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's one kid, I got to give him his props. He has figured it out. A lot of these other guys, I know we talked about this last week, George. All these guys now, they have too much game. All right? They don't want to simplify that game. All right? They want to go through their legs. They want to show you they got the step back 3. They want to show you they got all these moves. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander says, forget all that. I ain't trying to show you none of that. I'm just going to go to the paint every time. Yep. You guys ain't guarding the paint no more. It ain't really no real shot blockers in the league no more. You know what? I'll just go out there and I'll get 20, 22 points out in the paint, making layups, getting to the basket. You're not going to stop me. And if you touch me, I'm going to just go to the foul line because everything is a foul these days.
Everything.
So it don't matter what you do. Hey, I'm going to get 10 points. I'm going to get 10 points at the foul line. I'm going to get 22 in the paint, and I'm going to average about 30 points a game. And he has perfected that. And that's why I think the Thunder have been fantastic this year because, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has figured it out. Yeah. So I have to give him a shout out. What do you guys think about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? You guys like him?
Oh yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he's really grown up in his last couple years.
Right.
And you said something. His game remind me of Harden game because he understands how to get to the line.
Exactly.
Right. Get me to the line. I shoot 10 free throws. I make 10. My other points come from the field. I got 30 a game. We good to go.
And that's the crazy thing about OKC is that they got a lot of picks.
They do.
All right. So you got the number 2 pick that they just got last year from Gonzaga. He's hurt, so he's coming back. And then they got a plethora of picks coming up in these next drafts. Yeah. So they are way ahead of what they're supposed to be right now, if you ask me. And that should be scary for teams like Dallas and all these other teams.
But you know what? They still in a small market though.
Yeah, the market is small.
Again, can they keep it together? Because they've been there before with obviously back in the day, KD,
you right,
young Harden, and young
right.
Russ.
You are
can
right.
They keep it together? Who wants to live in OKC and be a star? Like I can go to a bigger market, get more money, get more notoriety, more contracts, more commercials.
Yep.
But what would happen if they changed it up, right? So okay, you saying the smaller markets. But what would happen if they start giving more attention to the smaller market teams where you got First Take and Undisputed talking about the OKCs, the Sacramento Kings, the Cleveland Cavaliers, where they got all these great young players that's in the top 5 in their divisions or their conferences. What if we started paying attention to those younger guys? What would the NBA be like then?
I don't know, Sean, but you know what, Sean? I don't think the NBA wants it like that.
I don't think it's either. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think they want the Lakers, the Celtics, the Miami Heat, all your big market teams. They want New York. They want Philadelphia. Yeah. They want those teams to be good because they know that's where the money is being made. And I think that's why they do it like that. That's why I think those teams always get the players they want. They always, besides New York, who I don't know what the New York Knicks have been doing lately. But they finally have a decent team. It took them a lot of years to get to this, but
it's about leadership.
Yeah, it's about leadership.
You never watched Jalen Brunson from, I watched him from high school all the way to now, man. And he's a dog. And so when you play with a guy that's a dog, you end up taking on that mentality if he's the leader of your team.
And you know what? Speaking of Jalen Brunson, that's going to hurt the Mavericks if they didn't try to get him.
Oh, most definitely.
All right.
Definitely. Because
like you just said, Jalen Brunson, if you watched him at Villanova, he was a leader. All right. And then on top of that, he's just a smart basketball player. He really doesn't have a lick of athleticism in him. He just knows he knows angles. He knows how to post up. He has great footwork. And that's one thing about him. So, New York and all these big market teams, I think they just want them to be good. Another thing I want to talk about this year in the NBA is the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant. They are still number 2 in the West, but do you think they can recover from what has happened with Ja Morant and what's going on with him this year? Do you think they can make a run at it this year?
Yes.
You think so?
Because they're young, they're fearless, so they don't even know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like they don't really care about what people say like that.
Okay.
They're a little older, more experienced, and they've made some mistakes and stuff. They start thinking about, man, what's gonna happen with this? What are the fans gonna say? What is the media gonna say? Well, they too young. They've been out here talking trash for the last couple of years. talking about their dynasty and haven't even won yet. So that just lets you know where their youthful mentality is. Like they don't even know what they're doing yet.
George, can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
First of all, I can't stand NBA dumb boy John Moran anymore. So let me. You know what? I just don't like the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, I don't like Dylan Brooks. I can't stand that clown. Okay, it's one thing to be this tough guy, but he's done nothing in the league. Okay, and then to disrespect a guy like Draymond Green. Okay, that's why I just don't like this team, man. These dudes have not won anything, man. They ain't won a participation trophy, and they over here running their mouth. Like I keep saying, they keep running their mouth like they the 86 Celtics or something, man.
But they're keeping themselves relevant, though.
They keeping themselves relevant, Sean, but it gets on my nerves, man, because they don't know what it is to be a champion.
But here's the thing about it. Once the playoffs hit, it's a whole different type of basketball.
It
so
is.
They don't get that because Giants finna get them open jumpers or to the league,
and that's
to the lane
I'm
like
saying.
that. And so now they're gonna start complaining and crying, and all of a sudden they're gonna fall again. And ever since Josh said he was cool in the West, he ain't been cool in the West.
They've been running their mouth. And they can't cash them checks that they made. I'm just being honest.
Is Memphis a small market or a big market?
It's
a small market.
It's a small market.
And they making you pay attention to them. So I like it from that standpoint. That was my thing earlier about the small market.
That's facts.
So you thinking they just doing this because, I think people are paying attention to him because Ja Morant is big money. All right?
Sure
it's his style of play. That doesn't mean, Ja Morant is a great player. He's an exciting player. He's a player that all the kids in the hood are watching. Kind of like Allen Iverson. His game is flashy. He plays above the rim compared to a guy like Nikola Jokic, who I think is a better player than Ja, but he does not have the flash to his game. So I think that's why people are watching the Memphis Grizzlies because Ja Morant is such an exciting player, and kids love to play that style of basketball that Ja Morant plays.
But if you only watching for Ja Morant, then you missing out because when Ja Morant isn't there,
they play better.
They still win.
Jaren Jackson and them play better.
And Bane, that boy is
he's
tough.
the key.
Yeah, I like Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
I like
Bane
Bane.
is the key.
I like Bane.
I like the Memphis Grizzlies as a team. I just feel like at this point in what's going on in the NBA, a team like Golden State is going to beat them.
I agree.
And a team like Kevin Durant, when Kevin Durant comes back, because he will be back.
I agree.
A team like the Phoenix Suns is going to beat them.
I agree.
But see, I say, I'm the OG, right? So I come up in that time when there was mad trash talking with the Celtics, the Lakers, the Pistons, and all those guys, and the bad boys, and it's physical. Like, give me some of that grit. Give me some of that trash talking. Give me some. All these guys in the league too nice. They all friends. They train and work out together. You know that type of stuff didn't go on back in the day.
But Sean, say all three of those teams that you just said.
I said the Lakers, the Celtics, the bad boy Pistons.
And all them teams are championship teams, okay?
Eventually.
They had the right to talk, okay? I don't think Memphis is going to be one of them type of teams. I just don't right now. I really don't. I don't see it with Memphis. I don't really see what everybody is seeing with Memphis. I like them because they're young and all that, and they're exciting. Okay,
Golden State is struggling, right? So who else in the West?
But wait a minute. Golden State has playoff experience. That means
we can't
something.
worry about the season with them.
Once that pressure on,
it's different.
It's different. They perform. They are actual dynasty.
So other than Golden State, who do you think in the West?
Them the two.
I think Phoenix.
I'll
be honest with you. I think if the Lakers get hot, I think the Lakers can.
Yep. Oh, and then you're right. I wanted to talk about the Lakers because we talked about them last week. But Austin Reeves is keeping them afloat right now. Okay. Hey, AR-15 is keeping them afloat.
I'm gonna tell you what I call
this show
him.
ain't Anthony Davis right now.
That's Billy Hole from White Man Can't Jump. He getting it in.
That white boy getting it in, man.
He getting it in.
White chocolate over there, man.
He getting it in.
And I'm telling you, man, he playing for a big payday. He about to get paid.
So what's gonna happen when LBJ come back? Is it gonna be a chemistry thing? And
let's ask George that. What do you think, George?
Why y'all asking me? Y'all know what's gonna happen.
Okay, what's about to happen, George? Come on and tell us what's about to happen.
So
Mr.
Wait a minute. What difference does LeBron make? Yeah, like he's finna come in there and do what he doesn't do. So again,
the difference is the chemistry because they're doing well without him. So when he comes back, he's somewhat ball dominant too. So they got a system going now. Will he come and interrupt what they're doing?
I don't think LeBron will. I mean,
no,
honestly, I think LeBron is only going to help them if he's on the floor. Okay, first of all, because he was averaging 29 points a game, and I don't really like giving LeBron a lot of kudos, but In this situation, I think he only helps them with what he brings to the floor. His leadership. Yeah. They really don't have a lot of leadership right now.
And championship pedigree.
But I do think that if they play a team like Golden State, or if they go up against Phoenix, they're still going to lose, even with LeBron on the floor.
So confidence-wise, if you're one of these newer guys that's out there playing without LeBron, because he's been out most of the games since the new squad got assembled, is your confidence higher with LeBron on the floor?
Oh yeah,
or not? Or
your confidence should be higher.
You're on the floor.
Your confidence is definitely higher.
It should be higher.
I will say that.
Or is it more pressure to hit the shots and?
I think it's gonna be more pressure because it's LA anyway. Right?
It depends on the player.
I don't know.
I know George might not agree with this, but Shaun does have a point to where when players play with LeBron, they suppress their games.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. I'll be honest with you. I think LeBron has kind of, like you said, suppressed a lot of guys.
It's happening with Anthony Davis.
But not on purpose, though, because he's such of a talent. You don't know how to kind of ingratiate yourself to his game. But I think AD should have been taken over the Lakers team 2 years ago.
Another thing is LeBron is ball dominant. It's a different type of style that he plays. He does not play the game like Jason Kidd as a facilitator or Steve Nash as a facilitator, where the ball is always hopping. He's more of a facilitator where if he gets trapped, he knows how to find the open man. Mm-hmm. It's not where he is finding you open looks or creating shots for you.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Man, he's fourth in assists all the time. How?
But guess what? I think it's more of the assist, kind of like the Russell Westbrook style assist. It's two different type of assist guys. And do you get what I'm saying, Shaun? It's different type of shot create. It's a guy that can create shots for you, and it's a guy that just gets assists because based off of I'm getting double teamed in this, and I know where the open man is. I'm gonna find the open man. I'm gonna get the assist or the fast break assist. Those are another different type of assist. But then you got those pure passers,
but now think
like
about
the Chris Pauls, like the Steve Nashes. Like even what Mark Price was one, Mark Jackson. Those are different type of guys that give different type of assists.
But they weren't scoring as many points as LeBron was.
Exactly. But I'm just talking about the assist version of it. Mm-hmm. I feel like LeBron, that's why he suppresses guys' games, because a lot of times those guys are just out there ball watching a lot of times with LeBron too. That's the truth. I mean, LeBron is such a great player. He is a great player, but it's a lot of that Luka style too. Not so much, all right, because I feel like LeBron is a better passer than Luka, but I do think it's two different type of passers in the league, and I don't think LeBron is the one that creates shots for you.
I disagree, but hey, that's
if you want to disagree, show. Yeah, we can hold it on to another show. But yeah, I feel like Golden State and Phoenix are the two teams that I.
Wait a minute.
Have the best
Let me
shot.
ask you a question. What do you think about Sacramento? Can Sacramento? No. You don't think Sacramento beat Memphis?
Memphis? Oh, you talking about Sacramento beat Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the Nuggets can beat Memphis. It's a couple teams out there can beat Memphis.
It's gonna be interesting playoffs, no matter what.
Parity.
And at first, I wasn't a fan of this whole play-in thing, but it just adds a lot of excitement to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that too. See who ends up in those 9-10 spots.
I think. More than anything, I know we talk about the West a lot, but I think the team that's going to win a championship this year is Milwaukee. I just like the mix of youth, experience, older players, and then all those guys have played together for a couple years now. And then Drew Holiday being your third option is just, actually, Drew Holiday might not be your third option no more. He might be your second option. I think Chris Middleton is taking a step back to Drew Holiday. Now he's the third option, but I still just like the way Milwaukee is created and how they're formed, and I feel like they're going to be a tough team to beat when you get to the playoffs.
Again, small market team, not getting any flex on national TV.
You don't think they get flex on national TV?
Man, they stay on national TV.
Not to me. They don't talk about them enough. I've hardly heard Greek Freak this year.
But you know what, Shaun, do you think any international players get the shine that the American players do as far as the exposure goes?
Giannis was getting it at first, but since he's won a championship, it seemed like it's been on the decline for some reason.
You feel like that?
That's just how I feel.
Maybe probably because guys like Luka and Ja coming in the league and all that. Maybe that might be it. I don't know.
Could be.
But I thought, I just think mainly when it comes to international players, they're not going to get the shine that the American players do. I mean, you look at Jokic; he's not getting anything.
Yeah, man, I want to see him.
And
play live.
he doesn't get a lot, but they're big men. Giannis, he was getting a lot of shine, but I just feel like compared to the LeBrons, compared to the Jazz, compared to the Steph Currys, they're not going to get that exposure.
Yeah,
all right, because they're not homegrown players, and a lot of times, a lot of kids cannot connect with those players. They connect with the Jazz, they connect with the Steph Currys. They don't really connect with the international players.
Yeah.
So I mean, off the court, I just don't think international players are as successful. I guess, making money. But you guys got anything to chime in on the NBA that y'all want to talk about before we move on to our next topic?
No, I'm just ready for the playoffs to go ahead and start. I'm ready to see what's going to happen once LeBron gets back.
Oh, it's a long NBA season. That's the thing about NBA. These 82 games, it's a long season. So I mean, I'm kind of washed up on the season itself. I'm ready. Kind of like you. I'm ready to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get to the real games.
Yeah.
All right. So, our last topic that we like to talk about. We're gonna get into that slap of the week. All right. So this is one is it's a little different than the ones I normally talk about. I'm talking about something that everybody likes. All right. Well, most people like, unless you're one of these leaf eating people. But I want to talk about chicken. All right. And the reason I want to talk about chicken because people are disrespecting chicken lately. Okay. And I ain't knocking your lifestyle and none of that. Okay. If you're a vegan or if you're a vegetarian, all that, I mean, I'm good with all that. But I'm in Texas, man. I mean, you got to eat meat down here, okay? All right, the steak is good, chicken. I mean, it's just hard to not eat meat, okay?
Brisket.
And I ain't knocking your style. If you don't want to eat meat, I understand. It's a lot of, positive things that come out of being a vegetarian or being a vegan. But just don't throw that stuff on me, okay? Because I don't care. I'm going to eat my chicken, and I'm going to eat my beef, and I'm going to eat my pork as much as I want, all right? I mean, I like to barbecue. I like to eat ribs and all that. But I wanted to talk about this because you know what? People are disrespecting chicken out here. And if you don't want to eat chicken, then just don't eat chicken. Okay? But don't try to make up some man-made chicken because you know what? That's going to piss me off, okay? Because you know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to read this story for y'all because it's a story that's going around and it's about these people out that's making man-made lab-grown chicken and it's on its way to the U.S. grocery stores very soon, which is crazy to me. But they went in a lab and some scientists made some chicken and I'm going to read some of this story. It says, on Monday, the Food and Drug Administration officially gave the green light to give good meat in its cultured chicken cell material. This manufactured food has been deemed safe for human consumption. Now, good meat just needs final approval from Agricultural Department before national grocers can begin selling the poultry. Good Meat's chicken has already seen success in Singapore. Good Meat is the cultivated division of food technology startup Eat Just Inc., founded in 2016 by Josh Tetrick. The goal of Good Meat is to offer cell-based chicken without actually slaughtering animals. Famous chef Jose Andres has partnered with Tetrick and the company to sit on their board of directors. He says this alternative to typical chicken is crucial. You know what? I can't stand this fool, Josh Tetrick. Like, you know what? What is the role of a chicken? Okay? If a chicken is not meant to get eaten, okay, what is their role? What's a chicken gonna do if it ain't meant to get eaten? What do chickens do?
Make eggs.
Exactly. Make eggs for us to consume. Okay? So I don't understand this thing of you guys trying to make fake chicken. If you don't want to eat chicken, then don't eat chicken. Because guess what? The chicken's role, God's purpose that he gave the chicken is to be eaten by humans. I don't care what none of y'all, what any of y'all say out there, that is the role of a chicken. Because guess what? If I don't eat the chicken, I guarantee you something else is going to eat that chicken. I guarantee you that. I don't know what it is. It's going to be a wolf. It's going to be something else.
Someone's going to eat that chicken.
Okay? Because the chicken can't fend for itself. Okay? So I might as well eat it. Okay? So I'm giving a slap to Josh Tetrick out here for making this fake chicken. I don't understand you clowns. If you don't want to eat chicken, then don't eat chicken. Just eat leaves and salad and all that other stuff. Okay? But don't try to make up some fake man-made chicken. I don't want it. Okay? I don't want it. If I got real chicken out there, why do I need fake chicken? It's the same thing with all these fake vegetarian stuff. They're making up these fake meatballs and all this. Okay, if you don't want to eat it, then don't eat it. Okay? But don't try to make no tofu, mushroom burgers. I don't want none of that, man. Just stay away from it. But I don't understand the alternative stuff. Do y'all like that type of stuff? Or,
So I got a question for you.
What's up?
Do you and your kids eat McDonald's chicken nuggets?
Yes, we do.
That's not real meat.
I don't care what it says, Sean. I don't care. Because guess what? On that sign, it says 100% real chicken. Okay? And I'm gonna trust McDonald's with that one, okay? It tastes like chicken to me. I don't know what it is. It tastes like
the
chicken.
exact same every time.
So what is it, Sean?
Some man-made chemicals and
so
stuff.
it's a man-made chicken.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I do.
I don't believe it. The
Wendy's,
McChicken tastes
all
like
that stuff.
Hey, the McChicken tastes fantastic, okay? And it tastes like real chicken to me. They probably went back and slaughtered that chicken before they made it, if you ask me. Especially so the Popeye's chicken fake
So
too.
look, you cook chicken at home, right?
Yes.
And it don't always taste the same, right?
It tastes the same to me.
Okay.
I get my chicken from the same spot though.
Okay.
I don't really change. And you know, I'm a chicken connoisseur. I love all types of chicken.
So
All
do
right?
you eat chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I do.
Now, I wouldn't believe that's more real chicken than McDonald's.
I mean, I guess it's how you grind. I guess McDonald's grinds their chicken up. But I still think it's chicken. It says it's 100% real chicken on the side. Okay. So that's what I'm going off of, man. I mean, I don't like all this artificial stuff. If you don't want to eat it, then don't eat it. I respect you for that. Yeah. But don't try to make up these fake plant-based burgers. I don't want none of that crap.
But I will say this. I think people are trying to look for alternatives to different type of things they put in their body, right? So you can't get mad. And like you say, to your point, if this is what you want to do, then you do it. You know what I mean? So I don't have no problem with it. Actually, I think I'm gonna try a vegetarian burger. You know what I mean?
I mean, you can, but I don't know why you would.
But why wouldn't you though?
Because it's real beef out there.
But I don't want real beef.
Okay, what do you need the fake for if you got the real in front of you, George?
I don't want the fake beef. I don't want I want something different that'll give me probably a better health benefit. You know
well, don't eat it then, George.
Dude, I can eat the vegetarian burger. It's fine.
It don't taste like real meat.
I don't want it to. It should not taste like real meat.
So you want to eat a mushroom burger?
If I have to, I would. I try.
Well, just say you eating a mushroom and not eating a burger. It's not a burger.
Also, you just mad at the name of it.
Yeah, I don't like the name, and I don't like the man-made chicken stuff either.
Okay.
All right, I don't want no man-made chicken. Just give me a real chicken. So what? Okay, so what's the side effects from eating a real chicken?
None, I don't think.
So why are we making fake chicken? Because they don't want to slaughter the animals. It's these PETA people out here. I ain't got no problem with it if that's what you want to do, but that's the role of a chicken. God gave the chicken a role to be eaten and fried and dyed and laid to the side. And that's it, okay? That's all it is with a chicken. So you know what? Josh Tetrick, you know what you're getting. You already know it. You're getting that slap of the week. Let's give it to him.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face?
What?
Slap!
Exactly. And you know what? You made me so mad with this one. Josh Tetrick, all y'all fools out here that want to make all this chicken and want to make fake beef and all that. And then guess what? We're going to have an infestation of pigs and cows and chickens going around because they want to make fake chickens and cows and all. It's messing up the ecosystem. It's going to mess up the ecosystem too, George. You ain't thinking about that. You ain't thought about that, okay? So you know what? He's getting this too. He's getting a punch. He's getting a punch, okay? And another one, all right? And then the uppercut, because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And that's it. Josh Tetrick, man, go find something else to do with your time, man. We don't need no fake chicken. I'm not buying that in the grocery store. And it's probably going to be $20 a pack. We can't afford that in this economy. I can't afford no $20 chicken. So, I don't understand it. Okay, so we're going to get into our last topic on the show. Shaun, you are the newbie here. And you know what? We do this segment called What's Your Beef? Do you have any beef with me or your brother-in-law, George Crawford, over there?
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, yes, I do.
Okay, come on.
And my beef is with you.
You got
Mike.
a beef with me?
Yes.
I'm thinking this coming to George. Okay, hold on.
What?
Okay, I would love to hear this one. Come on.
Me and my brother-in-law, we've been hashing it out about this stuff for years. Some stuff we agree on, some stuff we don't.
Okay, come on,
Right.
come on, Shaun.
So this is where we are, man. So, what drives me crazy is, I can't even say it's just y'all young boys and girls, but some of these old heads too, some of my family and friends, that when the Rams left y'all
Oh my God.
in St. Louis, y'all stayed diehard fans. Y'all didn't even realize it was a setup, right?
I tried to tell him last week.
Like I was the greatest show on turf fan. I mean, the true definition of a fan, fanatic.
Okay.
But each year after Georgia Frontiere died and old boy took over.
Kroenke.
Yeah, Kroenke took over. Man, all these weird draft picks they was getting that didn't make sense. Then they say they was going they wanted an outdoor stadium, and so the fans agreed to finance it. And as soon as it got approved, then they left anyway. But everybody was like, man, it's interesting because he's building that stadium out there in LA. So they pulled the okie doke on y'all. See, I stopped becoming a fan once I saw what was going on. So when I was going down to the Dome, I got to see Jameis. I got to see Kaepernick. I was going down there to see other players from around the league because what we was putting on the field wasn't good at all.
It was a bad product.
Right. And so it was just interesting how once they landed in LA, all the teams started giving them one or two of their best players on their team. So going to your boy Cooper Kupp, I think that's part of the whole conspiracy or whatever. It's like he got to do his thing because that was part of that whole Rams, mystique and going to the Super Bowl and winning the ring. But now that they have established or reestablished themselves, now I think everything gonna be back to normal. So I know you get hype. I'm glad to be on your podcast. I like the way you jump from your little post game speeches and preaching to moving to this podcast. So I know I'm gonna always be able to hear your little Ram spiel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna be you're gonna be like, we live here in Dallas now, and so I laugh at these Cowboy fans because I keep telling them, like, why would I become a Cowboy fan when I know my heart gonna get broken? That's like marrying a neighborhood floozy.
You sure right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you marry her, and then she's still out there in the streets.
Oh yeah.
Your heart can't be broken because you knew what you was getting in the first place. You knew you setting yourself up for heartbreak. So I'm just letting you know, going forward, that's gonna be a lot of heartbreak.
It ain't gonna be no heartbreak, Sean. I'm letting you know that now. It's not gonna be no heartbreak. First of all, we got $61 million in cap coming next year. So, and you know what? Everybody want to come to LA. Most people got houses in LA. Most of the players, they want to be out there anyway. We'll never be lacking when it comes to that
stuff out there.
They ain't worried about it. They ain't worried about it at all. Here's my thing, man. I don't understand why everybody in this world always wants to move on to bigger and better things, okay? And it's all about growth, okay? Do you want to stay in St. Louis right now? George, are you going back to St. Louis?
Nah, I'm not going back to St. Louis.
Okay, Sean, are you going back to St. Louis?
Not at all.
And guess what? I'm not either. So why are you mad at the Rams for leaving? Okay, I just don't understand it. They moved on to bigger and greener pastures. They went to LA, built a $5 billion stadium. They're number 2 right now as far as net worth in the NFL, right behind the Cowboys. It has worked out. I mean, at the end of the day, Stan Kroenke, he would never get the free agents he got if he was still in St. Louis. And y'all know it, okay? It ain't no Jalen Ramsey coming there, okay? It ain't no Matthew Stafford even coming there. It's not happening if he was not in LA. And here's my thing. Yes, I was a little bit heartbroken too. Back in 2015, for one day, I said I wasn't going to be a Rams fan no more. And then I woke up and said, you know what? Slap this fool in the face. I'm staying with my team because you know what? I see that it's about to change. I feel like we're going to have more money. We're going to be able to get more free agents. And I understand it. I love the city of St. Louis. But at one point, they were not supporting the team. They were not supporting the team because the team was trash. But at the end of the day, I think Stan Kroenke seen an opportunity to go to LA in a market where there was not a team and actually feed off of that. And he just took control of the opportunity. And I cannot get mad at him for taking the opportunity to go to LA because I ain't gonna lie. If I had a team in St. Louis and there ain't no teams in LA, and I know that's the second biggest market in the NFL and in the country itself as far as media goes, I'm going to LA. And it's that simple. All right, I'm going to LA. They got the ring out of it. And guess what? This is just the beginning, though.
So did the league help him out?
Did the league help him out? Jerry Jones did. Jerry Jones helped him get that stadium built.
But I'm saying, with all those players going to the Rams at that time, because the Rams was trash.
Who?
All of a sudden, they got all the good players.
Who did they get? Because Aaron Donald, who was the staple of the team, first of all, he was drafted in St. Louis. Ty Gurley, he the one that got it started in L.A. All right? He was having big-time seasons in L.A. He was drafted by the St. Louis Rams. All right? Cooper Kupp was drafted in the 3rd round by the L.A. Rams. Jared Goff was drafted. The only players that we really picked up was OBJ, who only really performed with us in the playoffs, okay? And then we picked up Jalen Ramsey. That's the 2 players that we picked up. Leonard Floyd was a nobody, really, in Chicago. He wasn't nobody when we picked him up. So who was all these players that we picked up in free agency? That's what I'm not understanding. The staples of our team was drafted by us. All right, I mean, even what's his name? Andrew Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth. He was at Cincinnati, and he came to us. But and then Sean McVay was a coach that nobody knew. We built this from the ground up. When I said we got it out the mud, I meant that, George.
I'm gonna say, what's your thoughts, G?
George, we got the championship
we talked
out
about
the
this
mud.
last week. Number one, Kroenke in the NFL made a deal.
They did not make
Get
a
up out
deal,
of St.
George.
Louis. We're gonna help y'all. We're gonna
How did they help us, George?
Bruh. We're gonna help y'all win a championship in this stadium. Y'all gonna be the first team to do it, or I think what is it? Tampa Bay did it before him, something like that. Come on, Mike, man.
George,
cut it out.
I built that roster from the ground up.
Mike, like I told you last week, you might want to cherish the championship. Y'all done.
We're not done
You're
at all.
done.
We ain't done at all, George. You out your mind?
D-O-N-E,
No,
done.
No,
Mike,
we're not
stop.
done at all.
Mike,
this is just
you're
the
done.
beginning.
Mike, you're done.
Bro, when you got Aaron Donald, when you got Sean McVay, when you got Cooper Kupp, you got us. You got a foundation. Okay. There ain't nothing changing with us. We just gonna pick up some more players. We're gonna get young players. We're gonna get offensive line, and we're gonna be right back out there. San Francisco ain't doing nothing.
San Francisco for the
They don't even know who their quarterback is, George.
Stop. Y'all can't even beat Brock Purdy. Cut it out.
They don't know who their quarterback is, George.
Brock Purdy, 13.
So Brock
baby.
Purdy, you think Brock Purdy gonna be the next Tom Brady or something?
I'm not saying that, but what he finna do? He finna run
get outta
circles
here, George.
around y'all.
Get out of here, George.
All right,
I'm
Mike.
not about to listen to this,
Okay,
man.
I can't wait till the
Seattle?
fall, baby.
You think Seattle gonna do something again this year? They ain't nothing either.
Bro.
The only way the Rams gonna do something is if it's what's best for business according to the NFL.
We will, Sean. I'm trying to understand how y'all thought we picked up all these free agents.
I'm gonna go back and look at them because I'm
Go
telling
look
you,
at them.
I watched
know them.
I watched. I was like,
go,
how did they
go
get him?
name the free agents that we picked up. We didn't really pick up nobody.
What
we
year
have
did y'all
drafted
leave
these
St.
cats.
Louis?
We left St. Louis in 2015.
Okay,
We drafted Jared Goff in 2016. Most of the guys that we got have been drafted by us. And we picked up, now we got Jalen Ramsey. That was the first one that we got. We got Jalen Ramsey in the trade, and we gave him 2 first rounders. Then we got Matthew Stafford 2 years ago and gave them 2 first rounders. But those are the only 2 big trades that we made. Everybody else that we got, we pretty much picked up and we
How
drafted.
long did it take y'all to go to the not Super Bowl but to the playoffs once y'all got to LA?
To the playoffs, we went the next year. We went in 2017. We had a horrible year. We was 3-13. I think in the year that Jared Goff was a rookie, and then the next year after that, Sean McVay came. They got rid of what's his name, dude from the coach at Tennessee. I forgot his name.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible coach, Jeff Fisher. That's his name. And then we got Sean McVay, and then it was all from there. Sean McVay changed our whole system, and we went from a defensive team to an offensive team, and it's helped us out tremendously ever since. So I'm trying to figure out, it ain't nothing that Roger Goodell and the NFL has done. It's just the fact that we got a great coach. We picked up a great coach, and he's changed their franchise around. It's just that simple.
Okay. Mike, y'all not gonna be about nothing.
Okay, if that's what you think you're gonna see. All right, I ain't gotta say nothing.
Okay,
the proof is
right.
gonna be in the pudding.
Oh, it's
That's
gonna
the
be
great thing about sports. I ain't gotta talk a lot.
Yes,
You're gonna see it for
sir.
yourself. And when we shock the world this year, when we get back in the playoffs, don't say nothing. I just want to bring you on this show, and y'all gonna apologize to me.
Mike,
it's just that simple. You're gonna apologize. I'm watching.
Mike, so when they don't make the playoffs, bring me back on the show so
George,
you can apologize.
who's your
to me.
team?
Mike,
Who's your
Mike,
team?
I don't have
You're
a
a
team.
USC fan.
Mike.
You don't know nothing about winning.
You guys are not going to the playoffs
George,
this year.
you ain't won in 20
You got Matthew
years, man.
Stafford. That boy's old, broken down.
George, stop
Mike,
it, man.
stop, man.
George, y'all don't know nothing
You are
about
over
winning.
there lying to yourself. You know that, right?
I'm not lying to nothing. We
Man, please.
just won the championship 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah, we just won it. What are you talking about?
2 years ago.
We still got Aaron Donald over there, right?
Man, please.
Cooper
Now I
Kupp,
don't
right?
want to play no more.
Okay, watch if Odell come. And
Man.
then we
Odell,
So what's y'all offense for next year?
our offense for next year, we got Van
Pray.
Jefferson. We got
Pray.
first of all, like
Pray.
I said, first of all, listen to me. Okay. Listen to me. Don't listen to George right now. Okay. We got Matthew Stafford. We got Cooper Kupp coming back. We got Van Jefferson. We trying to get Odell. The tight end position, I want to
Mike,
upgrade.
I got a question.
I'm tired of hitting.
Well, wait a minute.
I want to upgrade the tight end.
You
position.
saying y'all trying to get
But
Odell? Y'all
watching
had
his
Odell.
draft- Yeah, we getting him back though.
No, you're not. He's going to the Jets.
He's deranged right now.
He's going to the Jets.
I think he washed.
He's going to the Jets.
Odell
He's
ain't
going to play with a real quarterback. No, sir.
Who's the real quarterback, George?
When they get Aaron Rodgers in the Jets,
You
come
know
on,
what,
man. Come
George?
on.
You are just a professional hater. You starting to get on my nerves. You really are. All you doing is hate. You don't have a team. I hate the people that don't have a team. They ain't got nothing to stand on, but they just want to talk about everybody else's team. It's making me mad. And you know what? So who's your team, Sean? Just name your team real quick.
So like
I know what you about to say. Don't even say it.
Right, until Marv Jones retires.
Marvin Jones retired. You're going wherever
I'm rolling with him. But after that, I don't know. Maybe I roll with wherever Jalen Hurts is or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Jalen, you know you can come back home.
Where is that?
To the Rams.
No, sir.
Oh, man. Not unless Marv go there. But then, like I said, after that, I just can't see.
Well, how about this?
I can't see that.
Hit your cousin up and tell him we got a spot for him right now.
Oh, he know it. He moved back out there.
And I'm going to put 5 on it myself.
So we'll see. I'm hoping. You know what? I'm for his sake to be at home.
Your 5 gonna make a difference.
I'm hoping he goes with the Rams. If he goes with the Rams, then you'll see me with my jersey.
Hey, tell Cuz to see this video, man. Hey, I'm putting 5 on it. On top of whatever we give you. I'm throwing 5 on top. Come to the Rams.
Wait a minute, 500?
Take a 0 off. That's all I got for you right now, brother. Hey, put me on the layaway plan. Put me on the layaway plan, but that's all I got for you. All right, so that's about to wrap up our show today, you guys. I appreciate you guys for coming on with me, man. We had a great time. I mean, I had a lot of laughs. It was fun. This is the first time we ever had 3 people on here. And it's just a different feel when you got 3 people on here. But I appreciate y'all for coming on. Thank y'all. This is my family here. So, let's cheer it up, kids, for that. We had a good show today. Let's cheer it up real quick. All right. So before we get out of here, do y'all have anything y'all want to say? Any remarks to the people or anything like that?
Now, I just want to thank you again. Great to be here with you and my brother-in-law. It seemed like we've been doing this, off the record. So now we're on the record.
Yeah.
It's actually fun, watching people do it on YouTube and on TV. So to actually sit here and, do it officially. This was fun, man.
And people think it's easy. It's not easy.
No.
Talking on the mic, and when you actually hit that record, like, it don't stop. Like, you got to know what you're talking about and you got to say it. So, I mean, I just appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank George, man. George is crazy. We get into it all the time. George, I mean, he just don't think right a lot of times.
Man,
I don't know
I
don't know what's wrong with George's brain sometimes. But I love him because he's family. But we just do not see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, and you see that now. He gets on my nerves, but I love him to death. I mean, I like Shaun a little bit more than George right now, and I'm just telling the truth about that. But I just had to get that out there. But excellent episode. I appreciate you guys for coming on, and to the people out there, like I always say, I thank y'all for y'all support. And if you could, man, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Subscribe. That is the word of the day, is subscribe. If you could, go out there and go on our YouTube page and follow it and subscribe to it. Subscribe to our Instagram page. We also have Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We have Spotify that we're on as well. And if you guys could just support and follow, that's all I'm asking for, is just a simple click of following and subscribing my pages. That would help me out tremendously. I thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. And then, like always, I'll see you next week. Be on the lookout for the next episode, and that's it.